What's up, you beautiful people? I just want to give an update before we get to the bike about the Toyota. I just got the carburetor in yesterday. I'm working on the brakes today so I can put on the wheels, get those all finalized and everything. And then we also got some block off plates to go ahead and block all the EGR stuff on this thing so we can clean up the engine bay. And of course, I have a huge mess to clean up as always. I'm messy. And then as far as that goes for everything, I still have to mount up this thing. And other than that, this should be pretty much daily drivable and I can go ahead and rip this thing. And I'm very excited. Now to the bike part. So about 4 months ago, give or take, I was riding with some friends and my bike blew up. Before I spent $5 grand and, went and gave it to someone and they rebuilt the entire thing, I went ahead and pulled it apart myself. I discovered that something in the head either failed or fell apart to where it basically jammed up the cylinder head and locked my motor up, essentially just from the head. I believe I lucked out just because that didn't damage my piston or anything like that. No bottom end damage. I was kind of assuming at that point that that's what it was just because I took the head off and the rotating assembly was acting correct. I put the timing chain on my finger and I would do the kickstart motion and the piston would go up and down and it was okay. So then I took the cylinder head and I took it to different shops that were local, and people in this area didn't really have the machining capability to fix the head. And that kind of told me that it was probably gonna be way more expensive than just finding a new cylinder head or possibly a used one. Now, with these bikes, I was quoted $4 to $5 grand for a new motor. These performance bikes, these 4-strokes, they're pretty much as cars when it comes to these motors and rebuilding them. I mean, it can get expensive, especially if you go to a shop. So I went to eBay. I lucked out because the 2015 Suzuki Rmz250s, I am kind of struggling to find some parts. I don't know if it's kind of like a hard era where they just didn't really produce much for it, or if it's just kind of, I don't know, desirable, so everybody just scoops them up. But I lucked out and I found a cylinder head. It was for 2014 or something, but I got it anyway. It was $400, $500 after tax and everything and shipping. And I cleaned it up. I did all the valve lashing myself. And when I took the old cylinder head off, I discovered I had a forged piston. It had a number on the top, so I looked it up. And so I cleaned that up. That probably helped me in the case to where my damage didn't get as far as my piston, because I mean, I could tell that the valve piece hit the top of the piston, but it didn't make any hole or anything. There was just small impressions that I could file down. So I just rocked with that, kind of just slapped it together with a new head. It was my very first head I assembled, lashed. I completely cleaned the thing inside out and I timed it all perfect. I did everything as best as I could with the YouTube knowledge I got and, just looking things up, and ChatGPT helped me out quite a bit. I put the head on, timing was good and everything, put everything together, and I got no fire. So at that point, I kind of had my brother's help just because I'm not like super intelligent with wiring and sensors and what can be faulty and stuff. But I knew enough to kind of trace back to what could be wrong or what I did basically of unplugging everything and putting everything in the right order. I didn't have the tools or the technology, the voltmeter and all that stuff. So my brother did help me out with some of that stuff by giving me the tools and kind of just telling me how to do it. And I just went and did it. I pretty much kind of dead-ended. I didn't have the capabilities that a power sports place would have, so I pretty much came to the assumption that it was my ECU, and I wasn't 100% sure. So I took it to a shop, Spomoto, and they also said it was about the ECU or somewhere in that direction, and that was about $1,200. So I kind of sat on that idea, went to eBay again, and I got a second ECU or ECM, whatever. That came in, I plugged it in, I was super excited, no fire. And then I just thought, well, let's run some more tests. Still kind of dead-ended. So I ended up taking it to Spokane Power Sports. And they ended up doing the ECM again after I told them I did 2 of them. Then they did the condenser, I believe is what they called it. Still no fire. So they had to call Suzuki. They got Suzuki's help and they instructed them. Suzuki instructed the power sports place to bypass the TPS. And then they could basically figure out what's faulty or what is not, and then go from there. And it ended up being the capacitor, I believe. And that ended up ranging, I think, after my deposit, it was like $1,900 or something, after all of that. But to be honest, that's beyond my capabilities. I don't have, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars in machines and tools and, you know, technology readers and things like that. So that's kind of beyond me. And I also don't have a speed dial to Suzuki, but they got it figured out and it absolutely rips. I was super nervous about the head that I put together completely all by myself, timed everything. And to be honest, I'm super happy with how it turned out. I went and rode it on Friday, and that absolutely took me back, and I am I'm so ecstatic that I think that. It sounds so good. It rips just like it did before, and I think honestly I need some tires and it needs some other parts too, just to kind of keep it updated, but it's awesome. I need to change the oil. It's back at home. It's not at the shop, to be honest, just because I want it next to me and secure. But yeah, that's the story. It had a catastrophic failure in the head. It locked up on me as I was racing friends, basically. I think I was mobbing in like third gear and it locked up, but we didn't crash or anything. We just rode out the slide, and that was that. And then I basically had to ride on my friend's bike all the way back, and here we are today. About 4 months later, we have a bike, and it absolutely sounds wonderful. Well, about 2 days ago, I got the text. My bike is finally done. It's at Spokane Power Sports. They said it runs good as it should. I'm going to pick it up. I loaded everything up for a moto day, and we are going to test that thing out first thing. Let's hope everything goes well. For one spendy bill, I got the bike, and I'm gonna test this out. We have made it. I tried to go pretty deep as far as I could. This thing scrapes a lot, as you can imagine. I have nothing up to date though. I came straight from the shop, so we went pretty deep, so hopefully we won't get bothered. I'm gonna buy tabs online. If I get bothered about Discover Pass, I will probably buy one right there on site. Otherwise, I'm gonna just ride and buy some tabs online and worry about that a little bit later. And then we'll start this thing and we will be ready to ride, hopefully. If it does, okay. This one, thank you so much. I am so happy right now. That being said, thank you. If you like this video, please like, please comment, please subscribe. We'll hang on for the next one. God bless, peace out, see you next time.